Ah, yes. For a while I had forgotten what I came here to do. And I wanted to talk about number 4, the letter D. And the rings, and to create a ring, and to create a barrier, a section, a thickness, to create square would be able to recreate your face, just like you see on the picture cards in the deck of cards. So I'm associating that what they're saying and why we need this distance is we need 1, 2, 3 areas. So we need 3 areas because, across, because we have 3 areas to the face. So if it was a door, all the spindles would have to be going towards each of the areas. And you'd be going one door through 1, 2, and then closing into another door. You know, movement, first part of the dice, second part of the dice. You move 2 to get 3. If I move this door, if I was swinging this, whoop, you can't see it. So if I had a door, and my door was this long, and to shut the door, it would come down to here. So first it would pass here, then it would pass here, then it would pass here, and then it would pass here. So when it makes the passage of the door, it's making the passage of the door here. Now the door is over here. So which letter in the alphabet? Does this come from the Hebrew alphabet, the English alphabet? What letter from the alphabet? And if there's a keyhole on the door, maybe there'll be a little dot over here or something showing that there's a keyhole, or maybe the door would be larger, or maybe it's telling us about Q17 being the door, and where Jack comes in through D4. Now how does Jack come in through D4? Why? What do we need? How much of an information system do we need in order to work what we call the arc of life? Arc-en-ciel, the rainbow. The arc-en-ciel is both the male and the female coloring it up together, a different kind of chip into the system, which means a breakdown. It goes like this, is that although you might be an end result male or an end result female, the pieces and parts that put you together are multitask, multidimensional, multi-sexes. And what they become is the final mix. So when I represent and I share with you my vision of understanding, and then we can go on to, well, what is 1 and 1? And then we can go to the Fibonacci sequence where it gives exact coordinates. But even while it's giving exact coordinates, sometimes we only need certain coordinates, like 1, 2, 4, 8, 7, 5, 1. 1, 2, 4 in the third position. DC is in the third position, giving room to 2 and 2, or to 4 and 1. Anyways, 4, 8, 7. 1, 2, 4, 8, 7. So 5 fingers get 7. Then it gets 5, then it gets 1. So you come back to the beginning. So 7 and 1. When you move 6 back to 1, you're on 1 with the 7th move. 7 and 1 come together. So when we're working in that fashion, so we have A, B, C, D in this reality. Actually, it's A, B, C, D. So I'm not going to go with that one. We're going to, where are we? Hold on a second, I'm thinking. Yes, it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So when we get, what were we talking about? Do you remember what we were talking about? How to, let's say this is home plate, this is first, this is second, this is third, okay, and this is fourth. Well, this is not only fourth, but this is 0. So since we can't work with 0, we're going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, and then home plate is 5. It is the E world of the 1 point, or R run scored, run batted in, and the ED is the sun. The TED is the 5D 4E 2J equaling to the 20 worlds. Remember, on the roster in baseball, you can have 28 ready for the game, but only 26 will end up in the dugout. 2 times 8 equals to 16. 2 plus 8 equals to 10, equals to the total of 2606. One side. That's your team playing for the spirit together on the other side. You're all for one and one for all. All for one and one for all. All for one and one for all. I think we can do it that way. Or actually, I think we would do it that way. See, we have a divided pyramid, 2 sides. So we have 2 sides here, 2 sides here, but oh yeah, okay, don't want to get into that. Where did all this come from? When you add up 1 through 4, it equals to 10. When you add up 5, 6, 7, it equals to 17. The total is 28 over here, right? You connect these two worlds where 4 is the difference between the two worlds, which comes from the lower world. So the lower world is actually 6 instead of 10, and we don't have to remove anything from the upper world. Okay, we have the 3 numbers here and the 3 numbers here. We make it equal, so we have 6, and that's your basic 18. You're connecting your 5-4 with your 3-4. Sorry, your 3-4 connects to your 5-4. So your DC world, from your sun world into your DC world. Click, 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 click. Through the student birth through the 7th gate. The AC world into the DC world. From 18 all the way down to 10. But all zeros equal to 6, you now become 16 instead of 18. 16 and 18. The letter P and the letter R. 4 times 4 equals to 16. 2 times 9 equals to 18. 3 times 6 equals to 18. Are there any other ways to get 18? 4.5, 4.5 times 4 equals to 18. So it's telling me through the 4-5 pass. Is there any other ways to get to 16? There's 2 times 8 equals to 16. So these aren't full star system calculations. These are in one world, the X or the plus world, the multiplication world, which is times. It isn't the time world. It is times the 19 AI, in which you run B over 2I and you run A over 2H, in which what happens in both worlds, you run D over 2I. When you're running D over 2I, it is manipulated through E, which is through 235 or 415, equaling to E into the I world. Because inside the I world is the E, and the I can play from the E world. It has everything it needs to play from the E world. All we have to do is put a sun belt on it. The sun belt on it. Where did I go? I got this way, I got this way, oh, and I got this way. So I went around it this way, I went around it this way, and I went around it this way. So those are my 3 sun belts. In each belt, there is 8, 8, 8, equals to 24, 24, and 24. And the total is 72, 63. The reason for that, 246, 444 is 12, equals to 63. I'm just trying to see if we should run down anything else. I started this whole video trying to understand what D is, but when everybody looks at D, it looks at like this. Just give me a second. So my question is, right, if a D is created, right, from 4 areas, okay, and I ask myself this question, if 4 areas create D, but the reality of this 4 areas are 9 dots. This is 4 areas, okay, and this is 9 dots. You know, in order to learn the basic, we got to learn with the basics, writing everything out. You have to write it out. A dot equals to 20, 35, 39. So it's an angel. It's 39 AI. Okay? It can be AIE and it can be AI. Right? AIE because there's more than one dot. More than one dot, E or ES or S or ING. All the add-on letters, they're telling us an alternative story within the root word. Understanding what is to have the root, okay, is 30, something partaking in the place through original formation, 12, 6 and 6. All the things to do at 66, even the moon, and DC. So this is 20, that's 50. This is 68. So root is like the house planet. So we're going to have to think of maybe your teeth, the dog teeth in the back. We got number 9 is 42. Everybody knows that E is also valued at 42. I'm going over this real quick. Maybe I should slow down a little bit. Where do I come up with E? E is number 42. And this is 1, 5, and 9. 1, 3, 5, and 9 are all playing from this position over here. This position over here is equal to 18. 1, 3, 5, and 9, and all its combinations are playing from right here. 9 and 4 equals to 13, so remember. 8 and 5, okay, 8 and 5 equals to 13, so remember. 7 and 6 equals to 13, 1 and 3, so remember. 7, 8, and 9 are a little different. So now what we're going to do is we can now remove this position, we can remove this position, and we remove this position. Do you remember I told you it was 3 and 1? Well, here's your 3, all playing in one position. First, second, and third playing in one position. We're asking ourselves this: Jesus between the 2 thieves. See, there's no in between here. Is there anything else I can do here? This way and this way. See, this is the jail cube, right? So this is only the first section. You see how much linear this section is? Do you see the candies that are in this section over here? I didn't create the 4th section, but this, we can look at it this way. We can look at it as the greater part of the hexagon or the ace that divides everything up. What else can I look at this as? So anyways, let me just finish it off. So 18 goes over here, which means 27 is everything else. So let's see how it works. Okay, actually it's 5 and 13 that goes over here. I will explain to you why. This is the 5 position. It is noted to be the 5 position. We note it to be the 5 position. We don't know really sure what goes into the 5 position, but now you know that I put into the 5 position the 1, 3, and 9 into the 5 position. The 1, 3, and 9 goes into the 5 position. So once this is in the 5 position, you're always going to know it's the 5 position. You're going to look at this 5 position. You have the 5 position with 13 inside of it. 9, 10, 11, 12. You already know that the only way to create 13 will be with, we're going to use the 9, but then we're going to use 2 and 1. Remember this poker thing. We can go 7 card stud. We can go 5
card. I think this is regular poker. And then we can go Hold'em. We can go Pineapple. We can go Omaha. Omaha High, Omaha Low. Usually Omaha High is a regular game. So in the 7-card stud, you will have 2 cards in your hand, 4 cards on the table, and then 1 more card will come to your hand. In the 5-card stud, you get 5 cards, and you get to exchange your cards at least once. The exchange, from the old into the new. So if you're exchanging, you're going from X, okay, W and X, which is now C and D. Disconnect, I don't know, District of Columbia, 43 and 47. So within time, this is a big number. 2021. And then this is going to equal to 1, and this is going to equal to... So we've arrived in Venus in 2021, which is actually 2020 beginning. So 2020 beginning equals to the beginning. When 2020 comes, this is year 1. 21 is year 2. 22 is year 3. 22, 23, 24. So when this year shows up, it's ended. 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 This year, okay, is showing up in September. I'm not sure of the date, somewhere near September 25th. This is when it's showing up. It's called Showing of the Light, Showing of the Rock. Somewhere around this time this year in the moon calendar. The New Year's celebration is a red light celebration. When you have the new year, it's a celebration, becomes a calibration inside the celebration, in which the bear, okay, like I want to do incarnate, something to do with bear, but there's B-R-I-N-G. This is the bearing. So when you look at the Bering Sea, right, the word bring is a word that cannot actually be torn apart unless you reconstitute what is B and what is R. And when you reconstitute that, you have the bear, you have the boar, you have what is B5112. B5112. Why? Because the reverse of 15 is 12. We bring all our numbers back down to the bottom row. Everything above 56, everything above 60, everything above 55, everything above 66, everything above 73, everything above 82, everything above 91. And the reason for that is they all become 1, 2, is this 66? No, this should have been 65. I don't know why I put 66. It actually should be 64. And this is, okay, this should have been 64. And it's not 65. So the difference between here and here, okay, is 8. The difference between here, so when we're going to the next section, we're going to the end of the next section. So we're going from 56 to 64. This is the end. Why? Because if I went 65, I'd get 2 and 2. So I have the beginning at the end. I only can have one of the two. So if I wanted to go, let's say, to 81 from, no, 80, yeah, it's 82, 73 to 82. No, you want to go to, let's say, 92. Let me do it this way. 92 and 83. What we're doing is 11, 11. This is where it works out. It works out with 10 and 11. So 83 to 92. No, to 91. So the difference is 8. So when you play the game of pool from 1 over to 7, then 8, here is our compromising understanding. That when you're going from 83 to 92, what you're actually doing is 84, 85, 86, 87, 88, 89, 90. Sorry, we're going to 91. 83 to 91. Okay, we're going from 11 over to 10, or should we go from 10 over to 11? Hold on a second. Let me do this another way. 10 over to 11. So this is 10 over to 11. 9, 10, 11. So when we go from here to here, we have 83. 8, well, that's when we go to here, right? We have a total of 9, right? Is that what it is? Here's a total of 8. 56. Here's an 11. Here's a 10. So we start with an 11 and we go down to a 10. Okay, that's what it is, right? So we start from 83 and we go over to 91. So we're just going to use this over here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. There's 7. 7 in between and 1 to connect. I don't know if you understand where I'm going with this whole thing, but we're going to keep it short. We went to the 7-card stud. I wanted to show you that before I get back. And what it is you have 2 and 1 in your hand. I'm just trying to, in this part scenario, I want to show you how we end up with 3 all the time. Somebody sometimes will know our 3rd card, and sometimes they won't. Okay, they're going to know 2 other cards, because when you play 7-hand stud, you use the 3 cards in your hand and then 2 on the table. I think that's the way you play the game. I'm not really sure, but understanding that you get 3 cards in your hand, you get these. People don't get to see 3 of your cards. And when you play Hold'em, people don't get to see 2 of your cards, right? But if you have a set, you can have a set in your hand and 4 of a kind by the 4th on the table, 3 of them hidden. As in Hold'em, you can be hiding 2 to that. Between a set 3 cards and between 4 of a kind, when they'll be able to see 2 of your cards. Omaha, you get 4 cards. Out of 4 cards, you must use 2 from your hand. 4 cards, 2 from your hand. 4 cards, 2 from your hand. On the cross. So we get back to this world over here. I don't even remember where we were with the add-ons with the letter D. I wanted to continue with the letter D, that since the D is either created this way or this way, noted that because it's a V to create the letter D that you denote over here, there are 4 D's inside of this. 4 D's, and then there's the crisscross D's that are the in-between angles, no longer 45 degree, but now maybe, I don't know, 67.5 degrees if you want to look at it that way. I don't want to get involved in it. We were talking about the complete 4 area squares, which is now 9 dots, that when you complete the D, the one way to complete the D over here is it takes up 4 dots. And then the outside of that D is going to use 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 dots. And is that D creating the E? And the reason for the short line inside the E, in which when you connect the interior or skeleton of what is the D, you end up with what looks like a tent or a Y that's in between, now representing Earth. And now you can see the 3 ribs. And within these 3 ribs, we have 2 points. I can now put a face onto this side and recreate something more inside the value of D. This is where I'm going with this. But let me just get D. So if 4 areas was D, and I was able to do this, that means in 4 areas, I got a double D. So I got number 44. So the mathematics would be 16 and 0.8 equaling to 1 area space equaling to 24. So we have in a cube 3 area spaces, so we have 24, 24, 24, equaling to what is 72 3 days, or 4,320 minutes, your vibration within 3 days. your next one will complete your vibration into 5760, which is the year 2000 reset of vibrational workage. Anyways, there's a whole bunch of stuff going on. I hope I got through okay in explaining, oh yes, what was in here and what the 27 was. When you count the face of a cube, right, you have 45. 1 through 9 equals to 45. In where 13 and 5 and 27, 5, 4, and 9 come together. The 5 area holds 13. 13 equals to the 7th gate. Around 27, which is the B gate, which is now noted to be this 27 over here. When the gate is open, when the gate is closed. When the gate is open, when the gate is closed. To the left, to the right. To the right. Whoop. Whoop. No longer there. When the 2 is to the right, there is no 3. When this is aigu. When the 2 is in grave position, there's a 3 that's in the aigu position. When the 3 is in the aigu position, the 5 is on the rise, the heart of Earth, the 2 and the 5. So when the 2 is up, the 3 is to the left. When the 2 is down, the 3 is to the left. That is what's going on with 5 and 2. When we present with you 2 now over here into the right position, let's go. The 4 is no longer going, whoop. When we put the 2 to the right position, the 4 will no longer be on the side, or the 3 is no longer around. When the 2 is in a good position, the 3 is no longer around. So if I throw this dice cube and I see a 1, I automatically know that the 6 is not around and that the 3 will be tilted to the right. If I throw the dice, I don't want to get the same number. If I throw the dice and I get the 6, the 3 is to the right, the 2 is to the left. If I throw the dice and get a 1, I know the 3 is to the right. If I throw the dice and see the 6 on top, I know the 3 to the right, I know the 2 to the left. I know they're kissing with 1 and 6 on top, but they're always kissing. But now it's on the bottom. So when the 1 is up, the 3, 2 kiss on the bottom. When the 6 is up, the 3, 2 kiss on the top. All kinds of stories going on. It's a big creation. Big creation. Created all of life, you and me, our communication, your understanding. Should I end up with the egg tray? That we have 6 on this side, 2 on this side, 6 on this side, and 2 on this side. But if we don't count these 2, right, we have 4 in the center and 2 at each end. We have 6 on each side to encompass what is 5 in the center. 6, 5, 6. 6 and 5, 11, and 6, 17. On the inside of this tray, we have 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12. We also have where we can stand eggs in between each other. And we can stand 5 eggs in between each other. So the center egg between 2 and 2, so egg number 5 will be between 2 and 2 eggs, supported by the 2 and 2 eggs. So once we get our first 2 eggs in here, the next 2 eggs in here, our first 4 will balance 1. But all we'll have to do is go 2, 2, 2, and then 2 again, but the last 2 won't be balancing anything. That'll be the closing of the case. A lot of things going on in this world. A lot of things going on in this world. Raphael, 7286 in a constellation of Pegasus. Know the rotation. Know that there is a rotation. Believe that there is a new science. And win over the people's mind who are inquisitive to know the truth of the rotation and where it comes from and where it's being shown in other realities. And keep opening it up until we can understand how creation is, to understand a little bit more about creation.
what the possibilities are and what the possibilities can no longer be because of what has been proven to be an exact over this actuality. And it is, because if you gamble and you want to know about the odds and how they got the odds and what they did because why they took extra odds and why they changed the odds, is because of this reality. Raphael 7286 in a constellation of Pegasus. Thank you for watching this video.